I'm Mary Beth McAndrews from Grand Central. How are you? Congratulations on Sinners.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So my first question for both of you, but I'll start with Omar and then Lily. What was your relationship to the vampire story before being in this film? Did you like vampire stories? What was that? What was your relationship to it?
Oh, I've watched a lot of vampire movies. I liked it a lot, to
Hell
be
Hmm.
honest.
yeah.
But I
Yeah.
never saw the opportunity opening up for me to be in one because it's usually like Interview with a Vampire or something where, I would say Dusk Till Dawn was the
Oh,
closest where you
yeah,
actually
I was
had
just
any
about to say,
people,
yeah.
vampires of color or whatnot.
Hmm.
So yeah.
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 And what about you, Lil? What about you?
I hadn't thought about it. Same. I mean, obviously a fan, but never found the opportunity to be in one. And also, I didn't know very much about the movie before I was involved. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. If it's a Ryan Coogler film, absolutely. And then when I read it, I thought, oh, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
different.
So cool. You mentioned Omar, vampires of color, and like this is all vampires of color, which I love, and it's such a different angle on the vampire. But I was reading the production notes, both of your connections and research into this film. So Omar, I wanted to hear from you. I know that you have a personal connection from your family a little bit, right? To Sin
Oh
like the
yeah.
Sinner's story, like Ryan, similar to Ryan.
Yeah. Definitely not the vampires as far as I know. Family protected me from that. But no. My grandfather is a sharecropper, was a sharecropper in Mississippi at that time period. And my father was born in the 30s and grew up in that. So at the beginning of
Wow.
the film where you see cornbread picking cotton, there's an homage to the history of not only my people, but of my specific family in Mississippi.
Does that feel special to you as an actor to kind of embody that? Like it's got to be so as interest. It's got to be like interesting and challenging all in one little kind of package and in addressing that in a film like this too.
It feels special as a human because
Yeah.
especially in the political climate of today, to see where the country has come from and what's happening now, and to grow up hearing these kinds of stories, and to know that how it influenced other people like Ryan, whose family had the similar story where they did their great migration to California, but to Northern California, whereas mine went to Southern California. It's all really deep. The film is
It
so
is.
deep on so many levels beyond monsters.
Yeah. Well, and Lily, your character too. I mean, I was reading the production notes. I didn't know about that history of Chinese communities in the South.
Neither did
Like
I, but how
so
fascinating.
cool and fascinating that he inserted that into the story. And like I don't know, what was that like for you as an actor to get to do all this research? And I know you watched a documentary about all of this and all that research into
Yeah,
this character.
I felt really honored to have been able to actually bring that story to light because I personally wasn't aware of the small Chinese community in the Mississippi Delta. And I was saying earlier that I didn't know much about the film, but what I did know was that it was a Ryan Coogler film and that the role required her to be a Chinese American with a very thick Southern accent, which is something that when I was in acting school, never thought I would utilize. I even joked about it. We were doing Tennessee William plays, scenes from Tennessee Williams, and I thought, when am I ever going to use this? And then here we
There we
are.
go.
And I spent all weekend, which is the amount of time I was given to prepare for it, watching videos and learning accents and kind of panicking. And
Somewhere your acting teacher's like, yes, I
I
told her.
knew
I
it.
knew it.
It all paid off. Acting school paid off in the end.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then super quickly, last minute, what was it like having the vampire teeth in? Was it a pain in the ass? Was it painful? What was it like to have those vampire teeth prosthetics? One
I
more.
tell you what, the teeth weren't a problem at all, to be honest. The teeth,
Really?
yeah,
Oh,
the teeth weren't
cool.
a problem.
Okay.
I was able to close my mouth for the most part.
Oh.
We had different phases. There's different phases. She wouldn't know, but there's different phases
I was gonna
of
say she
vamping.
would.
And so with
Yeah.
that, depending on if you had fully crossed over or X, Y, and Z. So sometimes I had like the real British style fang teeth, and other times I had a less or a more. But
Yeah.
the contact lenses were much more difficult to deal with. And in my case, the
Oh.
prosthetic after the character got shot, much more difficult.
Yes. Oh, okay,
Fangs
cool.
were fangs were a walk in the park in
Wait, can you
comparison
not
to
see
those.
out of
No,
the?
you couldn't see through the contacts. The white contact lenses that we had.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
they made you blurry. You don't remember? We had somebody used to have to walk me around. Somebody you'd have to hold on to somebody's arm because we're shooting at night in the swamp,
Oh
and it's
God.
dark. And from time to time, an alligator would make an appearance and pop on set. And so
If
you
you're in,
walked around.
oh my God. Well, thank you both so much for talking to me about Sinners. Congratulations. This movie is such a blast. So I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.